Now, out of the three relationships we're talking about today, enemies, I think, is one of the ones that we need to look at scripture about the most. And here's why. The world tells us that anything or anyone that is causing us hurt or is a hater or anything like that should be cut out of our life, and that we don't need what they're giving us and that we need to focus on what's best for us. And I can fully understand that there are multiple layers of truth to that. But that is the exact opposite of what God calls us to in Scripture when it comes to our enemies. Now, we've all probably heard the saying, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. And that's actually not that far off. See, in Matthew 5, in the Sermon on the Mount, there's a whole section in Jesus' famous teaching devoted to teaching about loving our enemies. And it says this: "You have heard the law that says, 'Love your neighbor and hate your enemy.' But I say, love your enemies. Pray for those who persecute you." So not only are we supposed to love our enemies, we have to also pray for them. And I'll be fully honest here. I have found this so difficult in my life. When we read this, I know that it can feel daunting, or maybe you hear it and you just kind of go, yeah, sure, whatever. But Scripture is so clear that the way we love people that we struggle to love means way more than the way we love the people that are closest to us. And this is not an easy type of love. Romans 12 is a beautiful chapter written and filled with the ways of God and how we are called to live as Jesus followers. But verse 10 says this: "Love each other with genuine affection and take delight in honoring each other." So this love that we talk about can't be faked, or it can't just be talked about and said. Our love for everyone, including our enemies, needs to be genuine. Jesus says in Luke 6, "But love your enemies and do good and lend, expecting nothing in return, and your reward will be great." So Jesus tells us to this love for our enemies, and he takes it and makes it practical. He puts it into action for us. And it's not a general feeling of love towards them, saying, yeah, I love you, man. But he tells us that we need to put it into an action that is genuine as an expression of love. We are to do good. We are given this example of lending or giving to them without expecting in return. In other words, loving our enemies is going to cost us. So let's illustrate it this way. Say if someone comes over to your place and they broke a lamp or something in your room, and you can react two different ways. You can say, yes, pay the price for it. Or you could say, no. But either way, one of you has to pay the price. The enemies in our lives will always be good at taking something from us. But the beauty is that Jesus fulfills what they have taken and gives it back to us. So if your enemy has taken your joy, Jesus returns and fulfills it. Or if your enemy has taken your peace, Jesus will give it back to you. Whatever it is, not only Jesus fulfills what is needed, but rewards us for listening and following his call to love others, even when we struggle to love them. So just as we've talked about loving our friends and honoring our parents, we are called to love our enemies in the exact same way. We are even called to pray for them. We are to help them and encourage them when they are down. We are to listen and respond well and to celebrate them, and most importantly, to show them Jesus.